We in there?
Yeah, in
Live? Oh yeah, we live. I hear that. We live. We live. We live. Let's clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. All right. All right. All right. History class. History class. We ready to learn a little bit of history tonight. You know, it's Black History. It's supposed to be Black History Month. You feel me?
Yeah, it's real Black history right here.
Yeah, but they destroy us with this Black history. Why did they destroy us with this Black history? They destroy us with this Black history because they're giving us the history that they want us to know about our people. You understand?
Yeah.
And all of the people that, hold up, let me back up. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Been bringing this truth since 1969. What is that truth? The truth is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and the oppressors, the devil that the Bible speaks of. You get back into it, right? They give us the history that they want us to understand. They give us the history that benefits them. And I'm speaking them, I'm speaking of the oppressor. You understand? Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement, right? How did the civil rights movement benefit us? It didn't. You understand? Martin Luther King did what? He got us integrated into our oppressor. This is the reason why they celebrate Martin Luther King. This is the reason why they made his birthday a holiday.
Right.
You understand? Because the things that Martin Luther King did benefited our oppressor. In integrating us into our oppressor, we lost all our schools. I hear people talking now, you know, we got to do this in school. School's supposed to know, school's not supposed to. These are our oppressor schools. Our oppressor schools have their own rules. Because of Martin Luther King, we gave up our schools where we had our own rules. This is the lingering effect of integration. You understand? This is the lingering effect of integration. We feel like we deserve when you in somebody else's house, eating somebody else's food, watching somebody else's TV, you have to live by that person's rules. And by us being in America under the thumb of our oppressor, we live by the oppressor's rules. The oppressor really doesn't owe us anything because we gave up everything to be in the position that we're in, right, following Martin Luther King. You understand? All of the, what do they call, Crispus Attucks. What was Crispus Attucks? He was the first so-called American to die in the American Revolution. He was a black man. He was a brother, right? They give us him. Why? Go ahead. Why they give him to us? They give him to us because he was fighting for America, not against, but for America. If you go down the line, and I'm not saying, you know, the like the Sojourner Truths and, you know, people that was freeing, they got to give you little sprinkles on top of the cake. You understand what I'm saying? But the cake part of it that they give us in Black history is always of the Black people who served America. People who serve America the best always get a holiday. I'm not saying Malcolm X was doing the right thing, but Malcolm X was in opposition of America. Right. Now, Malcolm X is in the history books because of history itself, but Malcolm X wasn't serving America in the beginning, slightly, and I'm only saying that because at the end, Malcolm X started accepting white people into his Slovakia. It started accepting oppressors into the group. He said he would work with anybody that was working towards his cause. And everybody knows that the oppressor does not work towards our cause. You understand what I'm saying? We look at I mean, just name anybody. Even think about it, right? George Washington Carver. What did he do? The one that created all of the things from the peanut. Remember, he made so many different creations from the peanut. He even made shoe polish from peanuts, right? What happened in that? It benefited the oppressor. What's his name? Eli Whitney, the cotton gin. Who did it benefit? Oppressor. Everything that we created in their history book, the people that they put in that history book is in that history book because they've created things that benefited them, that pushed America forward. Think about the GPS, the woman that created the GPS, sonar. You understand what I'm saying? It pushes America forward. That's why these people are put in the forefront. So when you're a child and you're in school and you're saying, I'm writing a report, I want to be the best me that I can be. When we think of that as children, we think of being the best us that we can be in creating something that can benefit America, as opposed to creating something that can benefit our own people. You understand? We have to understand that when we looking at Black History Month really doesn't talk about Black history, but it talks about oppressive history. Everything that they have in that book that's supposed to be so-called Black history is about pushing the oppressor and his engine forward. You understand what I'm saying? I got a book right here, and I bought this book out maybe last year. It's called Medical Apartheid, right? This is what history is. You understand the atrocities that were done against so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and natives in America. We always look at Thanksgiving. We still have brothers and sisters, a lot of brothers and sisters that celebrate that Thanksgiving, not understanding what they celebrating, not understanding that that was real history, but twisted. It has propaganda in it. We talked about propaganda last week. You understand the propaganda? Where is it at? Propaganda is half truths, selected truths, and truths out of context. Basically, when we get that Thanksgiving story, that's a truth out of context. Our oppressor sprinkles a little bit of, sugar, and then puts a lot of pepper. You understand? A lot of pepper is what that sugar covers up. You understand? The Native Americans were destroyed. They talk about, helping them through the first winter, and then they sat down together and had a nice meal to celebrate, them helping them. Everybody was mixing and mingling when that was the furthest thing from the truth. You understand? George Washington created the first Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was, and this is history. This is Black history. Thanksgiving was created after every victory over a native Indian tribe. Every victory, they did Thanksgiving. You understand? It wasn't until 1861, 1862 that Abraham Lincoln made it a national holiday, and they celebrated it once. At first, it was once a month. Then they changed it to once a year. You understand what I'm saying? Thanksgiving is one of those things that was created and is history and is so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native history. Twisted with the propaganda. Like I said, it was a half-truth, selected truths, and truths out of context. We have to be able to, and this is the thing with us, is we don't go into books. We don't dig through history. We just believe what the oppressor tells us.
Right.
Whatever the oppressor says, oh, that's it. That's the truth. You understand? And you'll hear that a lot in a lot of so-called supposedly supposed to be think tank groups. You understand?
Right.
Whatever the oppressor says that's what it is. He goes into Egypt and he starts deciphering all of the words and the writings on the tomb, and they said this is what it is, and then that's what it is. You understand?
Right.
We believe anything that our oppressor tells us. You understand? I want to get into this book right here, right? And this is another piece of propaganda. You understand? I went into it a few months ago, but we always talk about Margaret Sanger, right? Margaret Sanger is the catalyst for the new eugenics program, which we all know today is Planned Parenthood. You understand?
Mhm.
A lot of people don't know that in that letter that came out about Margaret Sanger, W.E.B. Du Bois wrote that letter for her. She just reiterated. You
Right.
understand? And in this book, Medical Apartheid tells the whole story right there. See, I got it highlighted. Read a little bit of it. At the same time, can you grab Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10? We're gonna start right there, but hold on that. I'm gonna read the article first, right?
This is what?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. All right. All right. She says, I'm going to start right here on paragraph number 4. Sanger, hold up. Sanger tells us at great length in detail that girls family died. All the girls, oh, wait a minute. I got to go back. It's called the Negro Project, right? Margaret Sanger, born in Corning, New York, socialist in 1883, was the most famous American popularizer of eugenics. Although she is usually lauded as a powerful birth control pioneer and a feminist, all these labels fit. Her abundant writing, speeches, and myriad projects reveal a complex, passionate woman whose mission changed over time from women's rights advocacy to eugenics. Sanger shaped American productive policies by toppling the Comstock laws against contraceptive distribution, by catalyzing the development of birth control pills, and by founding the organization that became Planned Parenthood, the nation's 12th largest charitable organization. But she did so in alliance with eugenics and through initiatives such as the Negro Project. Sanger exploited Black stereotypes in order to reduce the fertility of African Americans. Listen, her whole plan from the jump was to destroy the African American family, to destroy us, to drop um, our birth rates, right? Listen to this right here. Sanger was a cautious speaker, so it's important to examine not only what she said, but what she did in her 1922 eugenics tome. The pivot of civilization, she claimed, eugenics is chiefly valuable in its negative aspect. On its so-called positive and constructive side, it fails to awaken any permanent interest. In this book, Sanger popularized her research into the eugenics values of various types of Americans by offering up a slew of case histories. She published a eugenics family case history to describe the eugenics problem Black families presented. Now, her whole thing was to come out here and destroy Black families. You understand? A lot of a lot of people say it started with just the feminists, you know what I mean, and a birth control that was for everybody, and then it suddenly turned into this. Her whole prop was against black people. Period. They just make it sound good in the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? The parents of a feeble-minded girl, 20 years of age, who was committed to a Kansas State industrial farm, a crazy institution. You understand? On a vagrancy charge, lived in a thickly populated Negro district, which was reported by police to be the headquarters for the criminal element of the surrounding state. Of course, that's what they call our ghettos today, right? That's why they police us and don't police their own. You understand? Sanger tells in great length in a detail that all of the girl's family died early or went on to lead lives of hyperfunduity, which is, you know what hyperfunduity is, right? It's people having baby after baby after baby after baby. You know, we have children fast. So basically, they saying all they doing is just laying around having babies, you know, at a high rate. Of course, we've always had that. My grandmother had 11. You understand?
My grandma had 17.
Yeah, lady up the street had 13. You know, that's just us. We multiply. You understand what I'm saying? And it seems unusual to them because they don't multiply like us. You understand? They a dying breed. You understand? And it says hyperfunduity, prostitution, and violent crime, or all three. The Negro district itself, we are told, is the headquarters for the criminal element. So clearly we are meant to take the black girl's dysfunctional family as representative. So they use one situation and make it seem and cover the whole, blanket the whole community with one instant. You understand? Which is what they do, just like what's her name? Hillary Clinton. You know, she called us super predators. You understand? One thing happens and they blanket all of us with that. So when the police go out and the police approach us, the first thing that come out of their mouth is, I feared for my life. You understand? Because of the blanket that's been placed over all of us. You understand? Basically, what we living in history right now. We are living history right now by what we're going through in America. You understand? The history never stopped. You know, civil rights didn't stop the history from continuing. We are still being murdered at a alarming rate, or unalive, should I say. You know what I mean? I'm gonna skip down. As she began researching birth patterns in Harlem, where 224,670 of New York's 330,000 African Americans live, Sanger entitled the June 1932 Birth Control Review, The Negro Number. And she recruited black leaders. Did you hear that? Said she recruited black leaders. See, when we look at our people, as a matter of fact, drop that and grab that Maccabees, First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. It says, and she recruited black leaders to contribute articles in support of the eugenics cause. Listen to this. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People founder, W.E.B. Du Bois, wrote, and Sanger often quoted. Remember, told you he wrote to her. They were in correspondence. You understand what I'm saying? W.E.B. Du Bois wrote, and Sanger quoted, the mass of ignorant Negroes still breed carelessly. Now, remember, this is coming from one of us. You understand what I'm saying? This is coming from one of us. And disastrously, so that the increase among Negroes, even more than The increase among whites is from the portion of the population least intelligent and fit and least able to rear their children properly. You understand? This is hate of us from our own people. Like I said, we all think that she wrote that letter. She came up with all of these ideas. The whole mastermind was one of our own. You understand what I'm saying? This is Black history. You understand? You got that that scripture? Can you read that?
Maccabees 1:11.
Yeah.
In those days, went there out of Israel wicked men.
Think about what we just talked about, right? It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. You're talking about the wicked leaders in Israel at that time. W.E.B. Du Bois was a leader at that time. W.E.B. Du Bois put in the oppressor's head that she should do exactly what she set out to do. And he gave her instructions on how to do it. This is Black history right here. You understand what I'm saying? Black history is the destruction of us in America. Black history is the transatlantic slave trade. You understand what they're trying to change into the transatlantic migration. By the time your grandchildren, by the time your great-grandchildren come, they're not going to know anything about slavery. Because right now, like I said, we living in history. They are whitewashing history right now.
Yeah, they've been doing it.
Exactly. They've been doing it, right? What's the thing that they don't want taught in school? What that's called?
Everything.
What's the thing that they talk about? They don't want people. They don't want their children learning this in school. They don't want that. What's that called? Come on, man. I know it was right here. It's on the tip of my tongue. Somebody, is anybody online? Anybody listening? Somebody, what is that? What is it? Somebody tell me. It's right on the tip of my tongue. What we've been talking about it for forever. What's the thing that they're getting banned from school? They don't want.
Oh, damn. Oh, you're right, man.
You know what I'm talking about. You know, with the history and all of that. Oh man, I can't believe I'm sitting here. I done got a brain fart. Oh man. Anyway, I know watch is gonna come later, but they don't want us to know real history. They don't want their children to know real history. They don't want their children to see the bestiality in them. You understand? They don't want their children to see how they really obtained America and the things that they did to be in the position that they are. You understand? What is it, Culver? I know you know it.
I think, yeah. I can't get it.
Oh man, I had it right on the tip of my tongue. I can almost see the word. I can't almost see it because if I could almost see it, I would have said it. Oh man. Oh, anyway, W.E.B. Du Bois gave this woman all the ammunition that she needed. Listen, it says Charles S. John. Listen, it says even more increase among whites from proportion, population, least intelligent and fit, and least able to rear their children properly. Charles S. Johnson, Fisk University first black president, wrote that eugenics discrimination was necessary for blacks. Did you hear that? So not only W.E.B. Du Bois, but the first university president, the first black university president of Fisk University, right? And a dozen black writers agreed in print In January 1939, Sanger's American Birth Control League merged with the Clinical Research Bureau to form the first Birth Control Federation of America. Later that year, Sanger devised the Negro Project, which was established for the benefit of the colored people, specifically Black women who were being denied access to city health services. You understand? These first experimental family planning centers sought to find the best way of reducing the Black population by promoting eugenics principles, and were also founded in Black areas such as Macon County, Alabama, site of the notorious PHS syphilis study. Remember when they was giving all them people syphilis and acting like they was curing them and let them walk around for years? You understand? Started dying and falling apart and everything like that.
See what would happen to them?
I didn't even see it.
No, I said they was letting them die to see what would happen to them.
Letting them die just to see what would happen after stuff would fester in the body. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it, right? We were nothing but guinea pigs. You understand? Listen, it says Du Bois also suggested, listen, he suggested to her, right, approaching Black churches, declaring them open to intelligent propaganda of any sort. Now, we already heard, you know what propaganda is, right? We already told you propaganda is the half truth. Selected truths. You know, when you select certain things and leave out certain things because you want people to side with you, that's propaganda. That's what Hitler's Minister of Defense used in World War II? In World War II. You understand? That's what his Minister of Defense used to have people turn against the so-called Jewish man. You understand? Although I can't be in his defense. I'm not in his defense. But they was doing stuff in Germany. The same things that they doing here in America is the same things that they was doing in Germany. You understand? Now they just a little more covert about it. You understand? Listen, it says W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois also suggested approaching Black churches, declaring them open to intelligent propaganda of any sort, and added that her organization and other agencies ought to get their speakers before church congregations and their arguments in the Negro newspaper. So they put this in Negro newspapers, went to churches, went to all of the political leaders. You understand? One of the political leaders was Adam Clayton Powell. Remember him? Adam Clayton Powell? You seen him on a couple of the, I don't mean you've seen him, but they showed him on, remember X? Malcolm X, the movie? If you ever seen Godfather of Harlem, he played, they had him playing, what's the dude that played in School Days, remember? Remember the dude who played in School Days? Remember School Days, the Spike Lee joint?
I ain't seen that.
You didn't see that? Where he played Adam Clayton Powell in Godfather Harlem. Remember Buckley Johnson used to go over there and talk to him all the time, and Buckley Johnson had to bring him and the lady together. Yeah, that was him, Adam Clayton Powell. You understand?
That's what he was playing in the Buckley Johnson movie.
No, he played in the Godfather Harlem. I mean, the dude played Adam Clayton Powell in the Godfather of Harlem. Yeah. And the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. You understand? So all of them was included in this scheme to exterminate Black people. You understand? We look up to these leaders. They got these people pasted all over your child's wall at school around, you understand, Black History Month. And then our children look up to these people. We all did. You understand? I remember when I was a kid, my mother bought me the big, thick Black History book. And I used to have to write a report for her. You understand? At home, writing a report. You understand? My mother had me into all of that. Not understanding these people are destroying us. You understand? These people had a hand in destroying us. And it don't take but a few pieces of silver for a lot of our leaders to turn their backs on us. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, hit that scripture again.
It was Maccabees what?
That was First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
First Maccabees 1 and 11. And those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
And that's what we was just talking about, right? Those are our leaders. These are wicked men who will sell us for a few pieces of silver. We destroy. Look at the Black community right now. Think about this, right? We always talk about we got Black mayors, Black city councilmen, Black commissioners. We got Black everything in Baltimore. Baltimore is 87% Black. But look at the conditions we living in as Blacks in Baltimore. These are wicked leaders. These are wicked men. These are men out of Israel who are wicked leaders.
The only ones coming up in Israel is them.
You understand? That's the only ones coming up because they only worry about their own coffers.
Yeah.
They don't worry about everybody. They don't worry about living comfortable, bringing everybody up with them, living comfortable. They got to be rich. And what the scriptures tell them, they could never get enough.
All of them Judas. All of them Judas.
Right. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathens.
You hear that right there, what you just said?
Right.
Who persuaded many. Listen, they persuade us to go in many directions.
Right.
They persuade us to vote.
Persuade us to join hand in hand.
Join hand in hand. Intermingle, intermarry. Think about it. Martin Luther King was already there, right? Yeah. They persuade us, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Let us go and shake hands. Listen, this is the reason why the heathens are all in our communities.
Yeah.
It's the reason why the Arabs, the Africans, the Asians, soon it's going to be the Ukrainians. You understand? The Afghans already in there. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Making covenants. Every time we support these people from these other nations, we make covenants with them. We promise them, listen, I'm going to spend my money right here in your shop.
Right.
Forget my people. You understand? Right. Every time we step out and we step to the other nations and we support the other nations, time in and time out, we make covenants. That's a covenant. Go ahead.
Because of Martin Luther King, it got so bad that we don't have no Black brothers to spend money with.
Right.
All you see is a different nation in our neighborhood selling us food, products, anything we need is coming from other nations.
Right.
It got so bad with it that we can't find a store with a Black person.
Right.
So we can spend our money with them.
Right. And at least one thing about that in Baltimore, I know all the way through the 60s, 70s, into the mid 80s, all the corner stores was owned by Black people.
Right.
I remember when Butch lost his store. Pearline lost their store first. It was on one corner. Pearline and them lost their store. Butch bought that store. And then next thing you know, he lost that store, then lost his store. It's ironic. You understand what I'm saying? But when your leaders or our leaders make covenants with the heathen nations, there's nothing to do but for us to lose the little bit that we got.
Right.
It's not by happenstance that in 1983, all of the corner stores was owned by Black people. And I'm talking the west side of Baltimore because I didn't live on the east side, so I can't speak to that aspect. Somebody from the east side can talk about that, but I know on the west side, when we walked all over the West Side. When you went into a corner store, it was always owned by black people.
Yeah.
And it's not by happenstance that in that short period of time, into 1990, into 1990, that all of those stores were gone or owned by heathens. It's not by happenstance. Things don't happen like that just overnight like that. You understand?
Right.
You have to make covenants with somebody for us to lose all of that. Just like integration. That was a covenant. We talk about it all the time. We always say, when you integrate into anything, you become the very thing that you integrate into.
Right.
Your oppressor does not become you when you integrate into them. You become the oppressor. You understand? That's what happened. Go ahead.
Let us go and make covenants with them, with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
That's how we feel. We feel like if we move away from the heathen, if we move from under our oppressor, we're gonna have so much struggle. We're gonna struggle so much.
Right.
You understand? Even if you think about it, right? Even in the book of Exodus, after the brothers and sisters Exodus out of Egypt, they complained, they grumbled against Moses. They wanted to go back.
Right.
Because they felt like they couldn't survive without the oppressor over them. Now think about this, right? When a lot of times we look at Egypt as though it was whips and chains and dragging and all of that, right? It's the same thing as it is today. Think about all the brothers and sisters that refuse to move away from the customs and cultures of America because they feel like they cannot survive without Christmas.
Right.
They cannot survive without Thanksgiving. They cannot survive without Valentine's Day. You understand what I'm saying? Have you ever spoke to somebody and say, look, you shouldn't celebrate that? And they say, why?
Yeah.
You understand? And then you give them a viable reason. And they's like, well, forget that. I'm celebrating. It ain't never done nothing to me.
I'm doing it for the kids.
Yeah, doing it for the kids. You understand? Well, think about this, right? We always think about Egypt being real harsh, but think about the people that didn't want to leave Egypt. It's just like here. You understand? We think of it because we see all of the movies, we saw all the whips and crack and all of that. We feel like
that's over.
We feel like it was more heavier. You understand what I'm saying? When it was just as it is today. Think about the few of us that it is, and think about everybody that's out in the world who say, no, I love America. God bless America. The red, white, and the blue, the stripe, hand over your heart, pledging your allegiance to a nation that is set to destroy you.
Yeah.
It was the same thing in Egypt as it is today.
Yeah.
This is history. History in the making. Listen, we only reliving the things that we lived in Egypt.
Right.
The same thing with Babylon, the same thing with Assyria.
Yeah.
You understand? Nothing changes. You understand? The scripture tell us what?
Nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing. There you go. You hit that right on the money. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? History just repeating itself. This is real history that we live in right now.
That's right.
All of these things that we see in our oppressor's history book is not really history. It's not really Black history. It's oppressor's history.
Right.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
Because this history didn't benefit us. So it shouldn't be in Black history. It should really be in oppressor's history. This is the reason why they are celebrated. This is the reason why they get statues. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why they get elevated to certain statuses. They get a holiday. Because every year your birthday comes around, I get money off of it. You understand what I'm saying?
You gotta pay somebody for the day we was born.
Yeah, you gotta pay somebody. You know what I mean? That's history. Think about this, right? We look at everything that's going on. Do you think about it, right? Egypt had oppressive laws against the Hebrews back in biblical times, right? In biblical times, right? They had oppressive laws to keep the Hebrews in check, right?
Right.
Think about the laws they got for us today. Think about the laws that were created. Think about the black codes. They created special codes that keep us in order, right? I'm gonna give you one. Think about this. You heard of the doctrine of exclusion, right? Doctrine of exclusion. No slave, descendant of a slave, or person of color shall enjoy the fruits of white society. What is that? No slave, descendant of a slave, or black person shall enjoy the fruits of white society. What's the fruits of white society?
A lot of businesses.
I'm gonna give you something simple. How many times have you seen in the middle of the day the oppressor just jogging down the street with headphones on?
Right.
How many times a day do you see black people doing it?
Right.
Black people walking with bags going to work.
They're too tired.
That's
Tired to even try the job. They working like slaves.
That's a fruit of white society. Listen, hold on, wait a minute. I did a class a few years back, right? You got a Wall Street worker that makes $320,000 a year for only a few hours of work a day. A Wall Street worker. They got all kinds of levels of Wall Street workers. The lowest Wall Street worker makes about $150,000 a year. Easy. That's just on Wall Street, right? They come in the door. You come in the door on Wall Street making $150,000 a year. Remember that? Wasn't that in the pursuit of happening? Will Smith? Ain't that what he was doing? That Wall Street stuff? That's what that whole movie was about, something like that, right? Look at him. He was the only brother in there. You understand? A fruit of white society when you can basically do what you want to do. Think about it. A fruit of white society. A fruit is not, what is a fruit? Think about what is a fruit?
Something sweet.
Something sweet, right? Something to be enjoyed. Something that you can lay back, relax, and enjoy.
Right.
When you have a business, when you have a corporation, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy it. When you own a department store, when you own your own business, when you own corporations across the globe, the fruits of white society, when you own a slave plantation, fruits of white society, when you own the only store in your community, that's a fruit of white society. The reason why we lost those, because that was too close to enjoying the fruits of white society. Now, one store can't really build a community, but multiple stores on every corner can build an Asian community. It can build an Arab community. It can build a Ukrainian community. You understand what I'm saying? So because we owned all of those things, we had to lose all of those things. That's history. That's real black history. This is the black history we need to hear, because we need to hear the things that got us in the position that we're in today. Everybody thinks everything is sweet. Think about it, right? When we downtown, think about when we down Lexington Market, we talk to the people. Everything okay? Everybody, what's the main thing that we hear when we down at Lexington Market? What's the main thing we hear? Everybody equal. Everybody got the same opportunity. We heard that 1,000 times. Everybody got the same opportunity. Well, if everybody got the same opportunity, Why we don't see no Asian ghettos? Why we don't see no Arab ghettos? I ain't never seen a homeless Chinese person.
I don't see no black town.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's a Korean,
You said, say that again?
what they call it?
Chinatown?
Yeah, black. Why won't see no black towns?
Ain't no black town. They destroyed all of it.
Yeah.
Listen, think about it. I'm glad you touched on that, right? Think about this, right? That was a fruit. That was a fruit of white society. Think about it, right? Because we had a Tulsa, Oklahoma, because we had a Rosewood, because we had a Seneca Village, right? We didn't need them. That's a fruit that we can lay back and enjoy, because I'm comfortable with coming into your store. You comfortable with coming into my cleaners. We comfortable with sending our children to that school, because all of this is ours. Now, during the Great Depression of 1919 through 1920, right? We started building millionaires. They started going through a Great Depression where everything was falling apart. Why was everything falling apart? Not just because of World War I. You understand what I'm saying?
Because they lost us.
But because we have removed ourselves from them. You understand? We are the prize. That's Black history. When you look at yourself, think about it, right? The scriptures tell us what? Ye are the salt of the earth.
We are.
Go ahead.
Our Black history that would help us if we did study it would be the Bible.
Say that again.
I said our Black history, if we did study it, would be the Bible.
Would be the Bible. That is our
It'll
history.
show us how to get out of this, out of oppression. It'll show us how to gather ourselves together.
Gather ourselves together.
When we did it in Wall Street, we prospered.
Right.
I mean, the Lord is trying to tell us through our history, but the Bible, how to do it.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
we don't want to read that.
What it say? Gather yourself together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. The number one thing that's hard for us to understand is that we are a nation of people that are not desired.
And they turn us against each other, so we won't do that.
Right. We think everybody loves us. Well,
We love
everybody just
Right.
need to get along.
Right.
If we get along and we change the way we think, and that's the problem, right? Because when we change the way we think, we begin to think as the oppressor.
That's what Martin Luther King was helping us do.
Right.
Helping them to make us gather with them.
And then when we say something about Martin Luther King, what happens?
Everybody get mad.
Everybody get mad.
They don't see.
Don't you talk about Miss Jenkins?
They don't see the craft of cancer.
Hey, did you ever see what's that Living Color when the chick be on there? Don't you talk about Miss Jenkins? Don't nobody say nothing bad about Miss Jenkins.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how they don't you say nothing bad about Martin Luther King. You understand? Hey, listen.
Like Samuel Jackson and Django.
Right.
We just love the oppressor, man.
Just love him. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You gonna cry for him, huh?
That's Samuel Jackson, man.
Hey, but it's crazy because that's what we hear a lot of. That old Babylonian way. Love. We love everybody. It's one big melting pot.
Nobody love us, though. We don't even realize it.
Nobody. You know?
We don't even love ourselves.
Exactly. Because listen, the reason why we don't love ourselves because we too busy loving these other nations.
And in our history book, it told us that.
Yeah.
The scriptures in the Bible let us know that we give our love to another nation.
Right.
We shouldn't do that.
Right. But when you give your love to another nation, you don't have enough love left over to give your own people.
Right.
You understand? We destroyed as a people. Listen. Drop that one you got. Drop that scripture and give me, I just saw it. You brought it up and I saw it. Give me a minute. I got it here under some of this jumbled up stuff. Hold up. I know I seen it. Come on, man. Oh, okay. Here we go. Hosea 4:6. There we go. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. I know I seen it.
Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Hey, listen, that's what you was just talking about, right?
Right.
Our history is right here in this Bible.
That's right.
Everything that we need to know, everything that we need to learn, everything that we need as a moral compass is right here in this Bible. Go ahead.
That's why they're trying to destroy it little by little. Back in 1611, it was the Apocrypha in the Bible. They took the Apocrypha out. Now all you got is the Old and New Testament. Now when you go to churches today, all you got is the New Testament. They're destroying our history because they don't want us to know and figure out who we are, who is our God.
Right.
They don't want us to figure out that God never gave us religion.
Right.
That He gave us the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why they said the laws are done away with.
Right. Hey, it's crazy that you would say that, right?
The black analysis is being destroyed.
Because I grew up in Catholic church in the 70s. I remember we used to have something that we used to go to called Midnight Mass. I don't know if you heard of that before.
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass.
I know the word.
It was around, I don't know if it was around Easter time or something like that. Anyway, Mass would start at 12 o'clock at night. They had a service, a special service. I can't remember what it was for, but it was called Midnight Mass. And as a kid, 12 o'clock at night, man, you ain't trying to hear no what's the name. So you falling asleep. My mother smacked me in the back of the head, wake up. So I picked the Bible up and I started reading. I flipped to the middle. Was the first time I had ever seen the book of Maccabees in the 70s in Catholic church. And I would sit and read it. And the only reason why I liked it because it was talking about war and fighting and all that type of stuff. I'm a kid. Army thing. I was always in the army movies and shows like that. Rat Patrol like that. Used to watch that shit. So that was interesting to me in Book of Maccabees. Well, lo and behold, as 1980 rolled around, the Catholic Church took all the Bibles out of the church. Then they brought them back about 3 years later, and the Apocrypha was gone.
Wow.
So for some years, I used to ask people, have you ever heard of a book called Maccabees? And in the Catholic Church, the priest used to be the one reading the Bibles. They just happened to put Bibles in the pews. If you wanted to pick up a Bible and read along, you could, but you didn't have to.
Right.
They scooped all of that out. When they brought him back in like the early 80s, the Apocrypha was gone. And I used to ask people that was in the church, you ever heard of the book of Maccabees? And I know I'm not no fool.
Right.
It wasn't until I walked in these doors on Orleans Street that I seen that again. But just before my mother passed, she had gave me the Catholic Bible that she used to teach Sunday school in, and it had the Apocrypha in it. So it's a conspiracy. I don't want to say conspiracy.
You can only find that now in the 1611 version.
Right. But I don't want to say it's a conspiracy, but they took it out. It was in the Catholic Church.
All the plans and plots to destroy us, man. They know the truth. They know that Christ is coming back. They know that. I mean, that's why they got the space military. They know everything about us. They fear us waking up.
Right.
So they're trying to stop that by taking out the Bible.
Exactly.
And giving us a daily bread. That's all you're gonna see when you go to church one day.
Right.
There's daily bread in there.
Daily bread right there in the pew.
Yeah.
Read that while you're sitting here. Read that.
Definitely ain't gonna be no laws, statutes, commandments.
Nah.
No laws, no Old Testament nowhere around.
Hey, listen, check this out. They having crab feasts. You understand?
Yeah.
They having crab feasts.
Yeah. You got homosexuals.
What can
singing on a choir? Man,
what can they give you? You understand what I'm saying? They having crab feasts. They can't give you nothing but a headache. You understand? Where was we at? Go ahead, finish reading that.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Right.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Listen, when we reject the truth, you reject the knowledge, you rejecting the Most High.
Right.
You understand? When you sit and you say, man, I don't want to hear that, or I don't believe, that's rejecting the Most High.
Right.
You understand? We hear that all day long. You believe in your own truth. Listen, if you sit and you say, well, I feel as though, well, my heart tells me, well, God spoke to me.
My God.
My God.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's rejected knowledge. When you're telling stuff, when you're telling anything of how you feel, you understand what I'm saying? That's rejected knowledge because your feelings don't count. Go ahead.
Coming to this truth, learning the law, statutes, commandments, and breaking them is rejected knowledge.
Right. Rejecting them. Exactly. You understand? You don't stand on this truth. You don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's rejected knowledge.
Yeah.
You decide to go out here and get high. That's rejected knowledge. You go out here and decide to be in the LGBTQ. Listen, you ever heard them say God loves me too?
Right.
You understand? God loves me even in my, you understand, even in my ways. That's rejected knowledge.
Right.
You understand?
And accepting your own.
Accepting your own.
That's why scripture say lean out on your own understanding.
Right. And that's what they're giving us.
We need to lean on.
Listen, all of these laws that America is creating, that's them leaning on their own understanding.
Right.
You understand? When you think about it, right? You letting a man marry a man. That's your own understanding. Listen, they talking about now going through and changing and taking stuff out of the Bible that they feel is not conducive to how America's living today. You understand? That was, you know how you know what they're saying now. That was in those times.
Right. Yeah.
Times changed. Times have not changed.
God said it don't change.
Right. Times have not changed.
It's becoming like the book of Eli. That's how they want it.
Right.
The Bible ain't nowhere to be found.
Right.
They found one, they hunting it down.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You understand?
They were trying to kill him because he had the last Bible.
Right.
That was like gold. They had that. Whoever had that book.
Right. Yeah. You understand? Listen. Anytime we're not following these laws, statutes, and commandments, that's rejecting the Most High.
Right.
Go ahead, finish that.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Hey, listen, that's why we in the condition that we in, because we rejected knowledge.
You break the
So
law,
the Most High have rejected us.
Right.
You understand? That's why we got millions upon millions of brothers and sisters in the prison system today. That's why there's poverty. Look at the poverty rate. You understand? Look at the HIV rate amongst so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives right now. You understand? We damn near the poster board for HIV.
Right.
You understand?
That's why it's so important, man. You come to the truth and you learn the truth. Not to be no backslider, man, and leave this truth, man.
Right.
Because God let you know, once you do that, man, he going to reject you.
Hey, listen, once you do that, you open yourself up to any and everything.
Right. You're back in the world again, and Satan
exactly.
is waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? Like a crouching lion.
Listen. I just can't imagine being in this truth and then just falling out like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Think about it, right? Where do you go?
Right.
What do you do? Think about it. Most people fall right back into the world and get destroyed.
Right, every time.
Destroyed every time. You understand? There's nothing like this truth. You understand? And we really going to experience the goodness when we go down to that Passover down in North Carolina. I can't wait for that. Go ahead.
I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children.
Hey, listen, this is why our children are dying.
Right.
You understand? Listen, this is why we died, because our parents rejected. This is the reason why we going through what we going through.
Right. It's going to be an ongoing cycle.
Hey, listen, what we just now said, there's no new thing under the sun.
Right.
Right? But the scripture does say what?
Those who have an ear, let them hear.
Let them hear.
What the scriptures are saying.
Yeah, what the scriptures are saying, right? Meaning the other scripture, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
The church is like,
If the kingdom of heaven is at hand,
right.
That means we have the power to change our own condition.
Right.
The power is right here in this book, in these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Listen, if we stop dealing with these other nations like the Most High tells us, our condition would change overnight. If we start loving our brothers and sisters,
we keep that law.
Keeping that law.
He said, I set before you life and death. Right. Life is the law.
Hey, listen, think about this, right? In a nutshell, just like you said earlier, this book is Black history.
Right.
This is Black history. If you want true Black history, all you have to do is go through the pages of this Bible.
That's it.
That's it.
That's where it's all. That's where it all lay at.
That's it.
All the way from the beginning.
All the way from the beginning.
From the beginning.
You understand? And the thing about it, right? This is not even like some kind of Egyptian thing where everything is good, everything is right. You understand? It tells the good and the bad.
Yeah.
It tells you what the good things that'll happen if you follow, and the bad things that'll happen if you reject. You understand? Now we've been on the rejected end for a long time now. It's time to get on the good side. You understand? Following these laws, statutes, and commandments, coming back to this understanding, to this true understanding. You understand? And stop listening to those true lies.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
That's the problem right there. We listen to all these true lies and we get destroyed.
Yeah.
You feel me? And with that, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. The oppressors, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Hey, we got the Feast of Purim coming up Thursday and Friday, February 22nd and the 23rd from 7 to 9 p.m. Y'all brothers and sisters got to come out here and enjoy this holiday with us. This is a special day for us. You understand? This is one of those holidays that shows you how Israel got saved from their enemy, her enemies. You understand what I'm saying? And with that, I'm going to pass this class over to Priest Officer Gabar Rakar.
Proper piece of pain, man. Okay. These are the security announcements. We are the ICBK coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother and sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew. And it's pronounced by Asherah. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you, get to the Treasury Department or teaching, priest funds, free will office for priests. Not mandatory whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. Priest of Purim. It's like, what is that? 22nd?
22nd and
February
23rd.
through the 23rd.
It's Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday. My Akim and Atwa. Check the social media such as ISUBK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUBK events and materials. If your brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. With that, want to one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amani, Shabbat, Amani, Rock, how about Shem Yahshua with thumb?
How about Shimon Shabbat the thumb?
That's what time. That's dismissed.